For over 10 years, I've been in a journey of self-discovery, self-development, self-growth that led me to the New Age as my belief system, searching for God, searching for someone to believe, to something to believe, and rejecting religion, rejecting the church for believing that they were institutions that wouldn't really help me to really get to know God. Welcome to another video. My name is Rocio. In case this is the first time you're here, thank you, and I appreciate you for listening to my testimony. This is very recent in my life that I found Jesus, and that he's literally saving me from a deception I didn't know I was part of. I already shared my testimony and you can find it here. It's part number 1 and part 2. It was a little bit long, so I decided to divide it, but you're more than welcome to listen to it so you can understand a little bit more of what I'm going to be sharing today. As I mentioned in those videos, I don't mean to become a preacher or anything like that, but I must say that I'm a bit obsessed with other people's testimony, especially the ones who came from the New Age to Christianity, because they really helped me to keep realizing things that I'm still navigating and information that I'm still processing. So it's really helpful. I do believe it's very different to hear someone that has spent their entire life in Christianity or going to the church or has grown in an environment where the word of the Lord was preached. And it's very different to hear someone that in that journey of trying to discover what to believe in went through the New Age or the spiritual world. We could call it many ways. Because definitely we have seen very different things. And we have walked life with a very different belief system that was literally shaping who we were or who we are today. I do want to continue eventually mixing my content with this type of video podcast where I want to keep sharing my story, because even with my whole spiritual journey, that is something that I wanted to do with my podcast, and how my life was changing and the things that I was discovering about me and how I was being shaped by my own beliefs at that time. There were a lot of things that I wanted to share, because sharing is caring, and when you believe that something it's when you believe in something, you also kind of so in today's videos, I'm also reflecting a lot how many of our relationships are really based in our beliefs. And once we believe in something different, how fragile that relationship is can be revealed. Because it's exactly what is happening to me right now. One of the things that I want to share is the fact that when I posted my first videos about turning to Christianism. And let me be clear on this. I'm not a Christian as a religion. I still don't support religion. Jesus didn't say follow religions. Jesus said follow me. And that's what I want to do. When I call myself Christian, it's as a believer of Jesus Christ, okay? I'm still not someone that goes to church, even though I'm looking for one or I'm open to find one. I'm even praying God to make me find a community where I can discuss about Him and to learn each other the Word and read the Bible and understand together things. but I'm such a baby in this, but at the same time, the shock of information is just so strong in me. And also when I must say that I become a little nerd when I get passionate about something. The way that I was diving deep in spirituality, now I'm diving deep in the Word of God. And one of the things that I saw when I share my first testimony is the amount of comments of people that actually told me that they were already praying for me. People that saw a version of me that was speaking a lot with this New Age narrative or New Age vocabulary, and they saw that I was in deception and they were keeping me in prayers. Some of them judged me, yes, but some of them, they didn't. They just observed and they kept me in prayers. And I believe those prayers were extremely powerful that led me to today and how I'm feeling today and what I'm believing today. So I really want to appreciate those prayers. And I do strongly believe in this because coming back to another people's testimony that are literally helping me a lot, I heard a woman that went through her experience and to her transformation when she found Jesus, but she was really into a big movement of the New Age. And one of the things that she mentioned and is that she knew that there was a big group of Christians praying over her. And so that was one of the things that I noticed the most in the comments of my videos, of many of you telling me that you were already praying for me to find the truth, to see the truth. And I do want to appreciate it. I thank you. I thank you so much for that because it has worked. I spent over 10 years believing something very different, and in just a matter of a second, all of those beliefs felt like an explosion of a building. There wasn't a single doubt of the things that I was believing that they were wrong. Even though at the beginning of this transformation, you can still having your doubts and questions and hundreds of reflection of what is the truth? Is this true? This isn't I think it's very normal, my process. But somehow it was very easy to understand that everything that I was believing was a lie. And I believe that one of the things that happens to people when, that's why I want to, once again, be very clear how different is to talk as a Christian that was a Christian her entire life and has grown up in this kind of environment from someone that has been part of other belief systems and then found Jesus. Because once you find it, once you find yourself in this new reality that brings a lot of peace in a matter of seconds, where you spend your life trying to find that peace. And there was nowhere to be found. And you have like this sense of urge to go out and tell the world what is happening. And especially all the friends, all the community that of course someone can build in over 10 years, that you have this strong feeling that you want to go around and tell them, we have been lied to. Jesus is the truth. Jesus is the way, it's like you really want to. But at the same time, I felt like I needed to be cautious. And I was very anxious to make this video today because I feel like I want to talk a lot and I want to share a lot. But there's some things that I don't feel ready to share. But even though I was trying to be cautious, I do have a lot of people and a group of people and friends and community that I have made in this spiritual world, new age world, that I do care about, you know? And I ask myself, am I a bad friend if I just let them keep on doing whatever they are doing? Or should I go and tell them, what you're doing is demonic? What you're doing is wrong, you know? You're not gonna find God doing what you're doing. You need to stop, you know? Because the truth is not everyone is ready to receive that, and it can be easily rejected, as is happening to me right now. So yes, following Jesus is costing me friendships already. It's not that it's the first time that I will lose someone, but I do understand that this path is not easy, and I don't really mind because I felt like I've been in many situations where things were not easy and I was able to navigate them. But yes, I was definitely trying to figure out how should I share everything that's happening to me, and if it's okay to share it, or if I should just keep it to myself, and just doing it on my own, and while I observe other friends just, I'm starting my yoga course, or, you know, diving deep into deception without them knowing, because I was there and I didn't know. That's why at the end of the day, I do think that it's important to share, just to share my history, just to share my story and my journey in this, because definitely I don't think that I have to go and command anyone to believe in something, but just me expressing and sharing this will plant a seed the way that I was able to receive other people's seeds with their testimonies. And I just received a message from a friend that we are getting closer now, because she's been sharing her journey from New Age to Christianity before me, and I was paying attention to her. And so now that I was like kind of struggling with this in terms of relationships and friendships, I talked to her and she told me that she watched both of my videos of my testimony, and like she was very proud of me, and she told me that it was very nice for me to share the testimony, because it was very, very important. She felt very related to what I was saying in my video. So I'm even feeling kind of the need of starting to share, or at least share my testimony also in Spanish, because my closest friends also speak Spanish, you know. And the truth is, when you are in social media and you start growing, you may believe that, yeah, all of your friends are watching your videos, but that's not true. Most of the time, it's just strangers that watch you and are there every single day for you, listening to what you say, but maybe your friends don't even care about what you post today, you know? My idea of also sharing my story in my own native language is just to plant a seed for those who want to listen, for those who want to see. You know, I don't want to just push any ideas to anyone, but if they are open to listen, that's the idea, you know, that's the ideal on this. So yeah, God wants me to do it for sure, probably very soon it will start happening. As I was saying, that when you find yourself in the way that I found, that I've been lied to for more than 10 years in what I was believing, and now finding the truth. And this is funny because there is this narrative that there's no truth, or like your truth is only your truth, but it's not my truth. There is a huge debate when we say the truth. So something was happening to me that I was having this feeling of, just observing my friends that are in deception without knowing, and having the feeling to, or like really questioning myself, like, why should I do? Should I tell them? Or should I just keep on moving and keep on doing what I have to do? And, I really didn't know. And everything was coming from a place of caring for them. And even though I don't want to push any ideas, I don't want to come and tell them what you believe is wrong, because that's not the correct way. I was having this feeling with one friend, and I was like really about her, and I just sent a message to her to share what is actually happening with me. Not to tell them, not really to tell her, you know what, I found this, so everything you're doing is, you have to change it. Nothing like that, but kind of to share what is happening to me, maybe to persuade, for her own good. This is not, once again, that's why I was very doubtful, because I don't want to push ideas. That would probably cost me the friendship, which I guess it did at the end. I'm not saying that we're not going to be friends anymore, but she literally concluded the conversation with me saying, yeah, I wish you the best, bye. But I kind of saw already something that I knew that was going to happen, that I might start losing my circle because of what I believe now. And that really makes me reflect on how fragile a relationship can be when it's based on our beliefs. But at the same time, it makes a lot of sense, because what we believe is also what can make us feel attracted to others, and to have things in common and make us friends, make connections. And when that fact is not there anymore, the gap is created now. The bridge has been created, and probably a distance now, and probably just walking a different path that will change my environment eventually. I feel like that's why sometimes we have this kind of urge that we want to rescue our friends, to keep them as friends, But yeah, I understand that there's a time for everything. And I do want to share this, because as someone that comes from the new age, there is a lot of things that we didn't know. That, for example, let me just put this case, for example, because it was a matter of discussion with my friend. There is a book that has been very popular in the New Age narrative that it's called A Course in Miracles, okay? And it's very popular because apparently it's like a resume, or it's, at least it's very, very connected. Apparently they go hand by hand with the Bible. This book, I haven't read it, thank God, but apparently it was written by a woman who channeled it with automatic writing. Okay, listen what I'm saying, because everything is important here. That she heard a voice, and she connected that voice with Jesus, and she said that Jesus, she channeled Jesus that made her write this book. And apparently they go hand by hand with the Bible. When you spend your life believing the New Age narrative, or when you didn't have any closeness with the Bible, the real Bible itself, you don't really know about these false prophets. So if someone is telling you, and something that I want to share is that the amount of narrative in the New Age that can shape our belief. Because let's be honest here, and let me just clarify something. And once again, I'm going to keep insisting on why it's so important and why it's so different when you hear someone that has spent her entire life believing in Jesus and reading the Bible and has grown in that environment, that someone that has lived a very different life and very different beliefs and has experienced a lot of the New Age things. And it's the fact that, like me, because I was there, like me, many of that people are doing things from a genuine place of love. I believe that someone that has no idea about New Age they believe that we are satanic people, that we worship the devil, and every full moon we are gathering like this and we listen to heavy metal and and we dress only black, and I don't know, we are just painting pentacles all over and things like that. But the truth is that the spiritual New Age world can look more like this, okay? And is very connected to a personal journey of development and self-growth and trying to be better and trying to help others and trying to discover yourself and, reach your goals and manifest your dreams and just trying to be better, and also trying to find God, trying to find something to believe in, and everything looks very high vibration, and really beautiful and colorful and peaceful, and trying to reach enlightenment, So that this is a book that resumes the Bible and it's the word of Jesus. It's quite easy to believe it because we are not denying Jesus. We are not denying God. We are looking for him outside religion, outside, trying to find our own path. That's exactly what happened when you find yourself in this belief system. So the truth is that Jesus would never do this type of behavior, just channel and automatic writing and the narrative of that book, that once again is a fine line, but it's very strong, that literally shapes your thoughts. The narrative, and this actually was the discussion with my friend, that she not really rejected what I was saying or what I was sharing with her, but I tried to communicate that the things that we were doing were opening doors for Satan, She was laughing at me and she was bringing this book to say that it goes hand by hand with the Bible. And I was like, no, that book is a lie. And if you want to know the word of Jesus, you find it in the Bible only. And of course, the judgment was that I was being extremist and that I needed to be careful not to be religious now, And the narrative of the New Age is exactly what she was sharing with me. She is very, very sure that she's having a relationship with Jesus and that she has a connection with him as one of the ascendant masters. That's the narrative of the New Age, along with other ascendant masters, that came to teach us about unity and love and to deliver a same message, but in different cultures, etc., etc. And this, the New Age narrative is all about that everything is relative, that there's no good or bad, that the devil is your ego, is your thought, that the devil does not exist. It's just your ego in your mind. Because I told her that, like, I was sharing with her my regretment for lots of the practices that I was participating without knowing that, well, what I was really doing. And she told me, yes, but we were doing all of this with love, and God is love. So there's nothing like a God that punish you and will and that is bad, and all of that. And I told her, yes, but even with love, we were opening doors to Satan. So that she was literally laughing and saying, like, the devil doesn't exist. It's the ego, it's the mind, it's your mind, and that is literally the New Age narrative that wants to make you believe that the devil doesn't exist, that it's yourself, it's your mind, it's your ego, it's your thoughts. Like, you should be able to control it, yourself. That there's no good and bad, that everything is relative, that everything is about finding your inner self, and everything comes from inside, and that we should start from looking and having a view inward, which I'm not saying is totally wrong. Yes, we need to take accountability and to really observe ourselves, and yes, to pay attention as well to our mind and our thoughts. But the devil is real. That guy is real for sure, and he can get into your mind. But this narrative will cover it and will shape it, will make you switch your beliefs in such a smart way that all the blame is on you. That there must be something that you need to heal. And I know that narrative very, very well. Trust me, over 10 years of believing these things. Of believing we all have light and darkness in ourselves. We must embrace it because it's who we are. And I'm pretty sure that many of you have hear me speaking like that. Another one of the very common comments in my testimony in my video is, okay, now Rocio, you have to remove this tattoo. Which, let me be clear and honest, I don't obey people, I only obey God. But I've been praying hard and asking me to guide me on what to do with this, because as I share very openly that I did started to feel regret, or I do honestly repent for this tattoo, because I found out that I was lied to. And the reasons why I did this tattoo were not really those reasons. And that prayer has been answered. And I'm not ready to share it because it's more difficult than I thought. And I just need to be ready. But my prayers are being answered because I'm finding that information that is just really opening my eyes into these things. So today I can say that probably eventually I will start removing this tattoo. Yeah. I don't believe that this tattoo defined me. Never thought like that. But I do feel like, yes, many of you are right. And I believe that something may change if I don't have this tattoo anymore. I like to talk and I like to share my stories, but speaking about all of this is not easy at all. I feel very uncomfortable doing it. I want to cry right now. And but I do think it's important, because the same way that I was lied to believing in things that literally shaped my identity, my personality, my self-worth, my willpower, my direction in life, the same way that is doing the same on people that I love and I care for a lot. And not only the ones that I know that I care and love for, a lot of strangers that are going through the same. And even though probably lots of them, they just don't want to listen, don't want to see it. And I'm not better than anyone for finding myself in this position today. This is important because the spiritual battle, the spiritual war is real. And the more that we keep being sugar coated in these beliefs of being your own God and everything being self-centered and having to do everything on our own and opening doors to other gods that are nothing but demons that will never hold our hands in the trouble moments of our lives. Or they will, but they will ask for something in return. Because they come and trick you like giving a candy to a child. They come with sweet words. They come with sweet beliefs. And they grab you and push you far from God. And I've been there. And I've been defending the cause. And I've been there sharing my stories for other people to believe the same, to understand, because people need to wake up. That was me. Believing that I was in a higher level than many others because I was more awake than others that were sleeping, you know. I'm not really afraid of losing friends. I've always been someone that has shaped herself and transformed herself in new versions that needed to, that her entire environment would change, and lots of people that I would say goodbye, you know, and then to have new friends and new relationships. But and also living a generation where this belief system teaches us to let go, to learn how to let go. One day I really started to question myself. What about holding? Why we have to let go everything? What about staying, you know? And this fits perfectly relationships, a job, a place. Why we always have to let go, to learn to let go. It has been a strong thing in my journey until one day I realized, yeah, but what about staying? What about holding? What about fighting for something to work instead of letting it go, you know? I do believe it's important to let go lots of things. Yes, it's important. And the good part of it is just learning to let go with love. There are places that you're not supposed to stay, that you shouldn't stay. There are situations where you shouldn't stay. Relationships, friendships, jobs, opportunities, you name it, that you shouldn't stay. So you have to learn how to let go. But there's many other situations where it's worth giving a try, you know? So I started to wonder that. I started to question myself. When did we became, and I speak for myself, for my own generation, because it's it's my own experience in that we have been really brainwashed with all these beliefs where everything is just so fast. Everything for you to be successful, for your content to be successful, the 3 first seconds are the most important if you want to retain someone's watching your videos. Imagine only 3 seconds can define if someone wants to stay or not, because we are rushing, because thousands of people out there live with daily anxiety. I have friends, lots of friends, that listen the voice memos on the voice messages on the phone, and they reproduce them faster than it actually is, by 1, by 2, by 3.5, I don't know what. And that really shocks me. Sometimes I feel like I don't really relate with a lot of things from the moment I'm living with society. But when did we become that? So yeah, even though following Jesus may cost me a lot of relationships and friendships and environments, and that is going to be painful, and I already know that because I've been through it. This time I feel held, before I was doing everything on my own, and the sadness was on my own, and the carry on was on my own, and everything was so exhaustive, Now I feel held. I'm not alone, even if it looks like I'm not. And the peace definitely comes faster. Once again, I want to say thank you so much for your prayers, and hear me out. I know many of you know, but prayers are extremely powerful. Your prayers have worked on me, because I believe it must be one of the number one reasons that I am speaking like this today, that I'm transforming myself like this today. Of course, faith without action is not going to work, but prayers are powerful. I'm very excited to keep navigating this new journey of mine. Since I'm a mother, is very important for me because of the type of education that I want to give to my son and my future children, the values that I want to teach them, and the values that I want to live with day by day. One of the things that I can totally say is that everyone, including myself, that has been or is part of the New Age path, we can be extremely consistent people. We are working in ourselves, in becoming better, in self-development, in searching what else is available for me. How can I reach a new level, and all of those behaviors are extremely positive if applied in obedience to God. So I believe nothing is in vain, but I'm happy to be here today. If all of you are okay with this, I'll keep sharing my story, my journey of transformation, my reconnection with God, with Jesus, how my life is changing because of that. And if you may know someone that needs to hear a single word that I might have said in this video, please share with them, because once again, testimonies for me were very, very important for my conversion. So here I am to plant the seed. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your presence. You're welcome to subscribe to my channel if you're not, and I will see you on the next video.